Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome to Divine Love Talk with Dr. Parthenia Grant, where we talk about health, well-being, and the love of the divine that exists in all of us. Now, here's your host, Dr. Parthenia Grant.
Powers of Love, Jason Michael and Heather Powers, along with our beloved Dr. Parthenia Grant. And we have a powerful conversation we're going to have today on from instant gratification to focus and consistency. This is a big conversation we're going to engage in, but we're going to open it up with you, my love. I think you have the foundation kind of to lay here for this conversation we're going to have.
I have the foundation. Well, let's see what kind of foundation. I passed this foundation actually to Dr. Grant, who in how we produce these shows, we have exchanges throughout the week, and she'd sent us this video by Simon Sinek, and this just radically shifted our whole week, just to really look at some things. And so I just want to say hello to you, Dr. Grant. Are you with us?
Yes, absolutely.
Yay.
Give them the title of the video.
We have from instant gratification to constancy and focus. Yes.
No, I mean
the title of the video.
Oh, you're kind of breaking up a little bit there, but yes, we didn't say, but the video that we saw was lazy and unfocused. This is why you don't succeed. And how did that even come into your awareness?
Well, it's because I teach young people. I just found it. You know how you're doing a video and then something else pops up, and I kind of think the internet is intuitive sometimes. And when I saw it, I thought, oh my goodness, this describes a whole generation of students that I've been teaching, and they're called the millennials. So I thought that this show today would be perfect for us, with you guys being Generation X, and then I'm a generation prior to you, as that first group of indigos that came in. I really believe that, and I know from experience, that these young people need mentoring. And yet at the same time, they're full of ego. They think they know everything, and they believe that they don't need mentoring. So maybe today we might be able to convince them otherwise.
I think it's, I think we all, I don't know if this is just unique to Generation X, Y, Millennial, Z, or A, B, and C. I don't know, but I think this might be a human issue that we think we know a lot, and we all could learn from mentorship and those that have been on the journey with us just a little bit ahead. And so it definitely, when I listened to this, I was actually on my way home from work, and I was like just stunned, because as a Generation X, as we call ourselves, I grew up in the Silicon Valley. Computers were made in my backyard, so it was like learning how to interface with a new technology, and we just couldn't get enough of computers. And now I have an 11-year-old son. I guess he's classified as what is that, Generation Z? These 11-year-olds, and he is screen addicted. We talked about
probably Generation Me.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Well, we were talking about earlier how our generation, Generation X, was really kind of that transitional generation where we were the first ones to begin to have the technology readily available to us in, daily. And we went from the shift to not having it at all to carrying around cell phones as such a short period of time, where we too are experiencing this, addiction and this distraction that it can be a lot of times. And at the same time, it can be an incredible tool for all of us. So,
and I think the key that Simon and that I advocate, and that we, the three of us, are advocating on the show, is getting back to balance.
mm-hmm.
And we certainly see that this new generation is definitely out of balance, where they are wrecking cars because they're texting while they're driving. They're literally walking into, I've seen so many videos where they walk into lakes and and they fall off of sidewalks, and they walk in the cars and doors. Talk about not being fully present with your environment, and the lack of social skills. Simon really hit it on the head about the loss of connection with young people. And I don't know with your generation if you started to see that with the advent of technology, the loss of connection.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I can speak for myself. I mean, growing up, we had, the first Apple computers, and we were playing around with screens and the Atari 2600, and we would have our friends over and play the video games and the Pac-Man and the Space Invaders and stuff like that. But we still played, we still were the ones that would go out and play until the streetlights came on, and that's how our generation grew up. Mm-hmm. There's no way I would send my son out to go play in the street with his friends. It's just not the world we live in anymore. Mm-hmm. So they're engaging in their video games and their screens more than we were, for sure.
Right. I want to point out too that as that shifted though for us, because we did go out and play, and I remember sometimes it was mom saying don't come in until it's don't come back home until it's dark, and then it began to really change. And I noticed that even in our adulthood, with the advent of the computer, I remember when my potential addiction began to grow with technology was when the Monica Lewinsky trial was coming out, and the Kenneth Starr report was broadcast over the internet, and there was something about this insatiable appetite to connect to something outside of ourselves to stimulate. And we heard something the other day that was so powerful that I know resonates deeply for all of us. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it is connection. And we have lost that ability in our relationships, even as families sitting at a table with all of our phones all at once, where we're present in the physical with each other, but not really present with each other.
Yeah, and that I think, for me as a social psychologist, when I first started observing that on college campuses, it was quite alarming. Mm-hmm. And in the classroom, I had to figure out a way I couldn't get rid of the technology. I started out, trying to be the technology police and saying, okay, if I catch you texting, you're going to have to bring that cell phone up here, and it's going to have to sit on my desk. And then all of a sudden I had this aha moment that, okay, why not utilize this technology in the classroom? And I became a very early innovator in terms of using technology as a tool for learning and engaging the students, to look up words that they did not know, to work together cooperatively in groups, which forced them to get out of the one-on-one texting. So I think we do need that kind of interaction. Uh-oh. Are you guys hearing that?
Yeah.
noise?
Yes,
Do you have
yes.
a little mouse on your phone there? I don't know what's
Eating
going on.
the wires.
I don't know what that was.
We must be hitting a pressure point of truth.
There's a lot of energy in this conversation.
Oh,
Something that, if I could, Dr. Grant, is talk about is that the addiction of what this is.
Yeah.
Like when Simon was talking about, what happens when we're in social media, Instagram, and when we're on our Facebook, and we're getting instantaneous likes and affirmation of that we're worthy of something. And what that does in our body is it creates dopamine. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing that happens when you drink, when you smoke, when you gamble, when you look at pornography, when you have sex. this same thing happens. And so what he said was so profound, is that we say, kids cannot be having access to drugs or alcohol or you can't go to a strip club because until you're age 21 or until you've proven yourself worthy of a place where you can now do it. But social media, Instagram, kids are getting addicted, and it was just alarming for my own son, who's he's self-professed, Daddy, I'm addicted to my little iPad little thing.
Well, and it's not just him, and that's why I'm glad we're having this discussion today, because you guys have an 11-year-old. But I'm seeing, honestly, the first time I saw this, I was at the Americana at the iPhone store, and I saw these toddlers coming in, and they had tables for little kids with big balls that they sat on, and they would come there, literally couldn't even talk, and they were swiping the iPads. And I saw in the mall, I saw mothers with babies that couldn't talk, and they were in strollers, and the babies were on the mother's iPhone. And when the mother took it away, the baby would have a fit.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's a total addiction. I saw something the other day when we were in the mall. There was a mother with a stroller, and there was an actual case that had a strap to it so that the phone wouldn't fall out. And I just thought, wow, okay. So this addiction has been created not because just this next generation is addicted. It's because the parents are addicted.
Yeah.
And so, but also, guys, and I'm a generation ahead of you guys. So my son was an original cast member of Barney and the Backyard Gang.
I love Barney.
They coined edutainment. It started in Texas. And I was all for it at the time because I saw, a need on television and in technology to get away from the video games and actually entertain and educate the children, because I loved Sesame Street. So naturally I supported it, and I was very proud of him for being cast in it. And I did predict, I said, this is going to be the wave of the future, but it's not the future that I had actually envisioned. I was literally hoping that this would steer parents away from the video games. But unfortunately, we have very, very young preschool children that are addicted to to iPads and technology. And the parents, unfortunately, are using these devices as babysitters. So we have to put a lot of the responsibility on the parents, not setting limits and using the television and using this technology as a way to distract the kids, and then they become addicted. So for you as parents, how are you dealing with this with an 11-year-old? And Jason, I'm going to pass it off to you, because as the father, we all know that the kids will listen to the dad a lot quicker than they will the mom.
Oh, thank you. He's a good listener to both. I have a really great son, Jet Pierce, Michael Henson. He's a good kid, but he has what we do. We just on Friday, he has this little buddy, and I said, guys, instead of going to play video games in your play date, we're going to go to the Chumash Trail, and we're going to go into the woods, and we're going to go play improv, and we're going to do this fun thing. And I have this program I'm doing with kids called Let's Create, because it's to deal with this very thing, is to get kids out of the screens and get them into connection and creativity, to access what is it's the greatest gift. It's our divine gift, is our divine imagination. And that's where we create from. And so my mission, part of my mission here, is not only to awaken love on the planet, but is to help our children stay in their creative impulse. So we'll go out into the woods, and we talk about with Jet, balance. I'm not going to keep him away from the screens. He loves it. I love screens as well. In balance. It's the Facebook, the social media, all that is a powerful tool, but we need to keep it in balance. And so that's a message that I communicate to my son consistently. Is just, that's good, we'll play, I'll play with you, but then we create, and we go play, and we take hikes.
I think there's a lot of, and Jason does an amazing job of this, like he shared. We will be right back. I think we're going to head out into the break, and we'll continue this conversation for sure. You are listening to Divine Love Talk on CRN with the Powers of Love, Jason Michael and Heather Powers, along with Dr. Parthenia Grant. We are so glad you're here with us today.
experiencing pain? Back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain? Pain from a sports injury? If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
Credit cards are sure fun to use, perhaps a little addicting, and they kind of make you feel rich. Well, if you're like most Americans, you've got over 5 maxed out credit cards in your pocket right now, and you can barely make the minimum payments, right? I'd like to personally recommend a company called DebtHelper.com. DebtHelper.com is a licensed and insured nonprofit debt management agency. They can help cut your interest rates by as much as 50% and lower your monthly payments, saving you thousands of dollars in finance charges on your credit card bills. DebtHelper.com does not lend money. Debt Helper's program could have you paying off your credit card debt in full in a 3 to 5 year period. Call DebtHelper.com right now for your free confidential consultation today. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. 866-706-3328. Credit Card Management Services, Inc. DBA, DebtHelper.com. 1325 North Congress Avenue, number 201, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33401. Down payment of debt may be creditors to increase finance and other charges or undertake collection activity, including litigation.
CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was a location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food, too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes, too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for 2. Much more, too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
All right, welcome back to Divine Love Talk here with the Powers of Love, Jason Michael and Heather Powers, with our dear friend Dr. Parthenia Grant. And we are talking about from instant gratification to constancy and focus, and we're talking about true success, and it's stimulated from a video that we saw from an amazing motivational coach named Simon Sinek. And he was talking specifically to the millennials and what we hear, and we talked a little bit about this on a past show, what we call the labor of love. And what we're seeing in the millennials is that, they get accused of being lazy or just not, really engaged in the traditional workforce, and they're hard to manage, and corporations are having a hard time. And Simon Sinek really spoke powerfully to it, that this generation of the millennials that is primarily, if you're born after 1984, I believe, is classified into this generation. But I know it's with the Gen X as well, because we're in a world where we can get everything so fast. I mean, it's mind-boggling to know that we can get information so fast. We don't have to wait, 7 weeks. If we could birth in a moment, I think the millennials would,
right,
and not go through 9 months. But
right, something that came up while we were in break, I was just thinking about how one of the biggest shifts in our generation is how commerce has really become, from work a day going out to a job, it's become very, very focused on technology. And so you have a lot of parents who are never away from their job any longer. It used to be that you go to work, you come home, and you kind of leave it there. But now, because of the .com industry, because so much of our our work is around technology and how to figure it out. We're becoming entrepreneurs and we're trying all these different platforms. So children are seeing the model of the parent connected not just to social media, but always to the phone, because there's this propensity to figure it out,
Well, I don't think we're going to get away from the technology,
Right.
as Jason said.
Right.
We have to set the example of balance.
Yes.
And I, way before the cell phones took over, when we were still using pagers and beepers.
143.
But television was a problem.
Yeah,
And,
totally.
And what I had to do during the week with the kids was to say, okay, you get 1 hour of television,
Right.
because the focus at home had to be on reading. And I want to emphasize the importance for parents to instill that habit of reading, because there's something about turning the pages of a book. You get the tactile movement, which is kinesthetic learning, and teaching children when they read to highlight sentences that they don't understand and look up words that they are not absolutely sure of. So what's happening when you're actually reading is you are engaging all three modalities of learning, because it both hemispheres of the brain have to function when you're doing movement and thinking while you are also reading. And if the parents don't set these boundaries and say, okay, no television or technology, which I guess that's what we'll have to say now is technology, because people are watching television on their cell phones with HBO Now, and to go. So they have to say, all right, guys, no cell phones, and I thought he had some very good suggestions about getting an alarm clock and not using your cell phone as an alarm clock. Yeah. And in the next segment, I want to go into other things that we can do to to move children out of this addiction to the dopamine rush of technology and move them into more of the oxytocin, of intimacy and connection with other people, this feeling of, bonding with another individual. And I think it's important to offer other solutions because we know it's a problem.
Yeah. And I think, as Heather said, again, I think it's worth repeating, is that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it is connection. And in social media, there's an illusion of connection. There's an illusion that I'm connected to the world on my little screen. Yeah. But true connection, as you said, Dr. Grant, is into me see. And so we're going to go more into some really cool practicals, and we're talking about from instant gratification to focus and constancy. We're going to talk about more what we're talking about in that bridge to this in just a little bit. You're listening to Divine Love Talk on CRN with your hosts, The Powers of Love, Jason Michael and Heather Powers, with Dr. Parthenia Grant. Stay right where you are. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Hi, this is Dr. Erin, and I just wanted to remind you that your birthright is to live a life of prosperity and abundance. You were born to be wealthy and have a rich life fulfilling your dreams. Did you know that you're the only person in the entire universe with your gift and message to bring to the world? The truth is that the universe only knows abundance. You have a mind that is immeasurable in its ability to innovate and create. The only thing that can create scarcity is limited thinking. So I'd like to personally invite you into 30-Day Prosperity. For less than $1 a day, you will learn the secrets of shifting into a wealthy mindset. No, this isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. This is an extraordinary community. Go to 30dayprosperity.com and start living the life you were designed to live.
How old are you? 25, 35, 50, or older? If you have pain, we can help. Do your knees hurt?
Ow!
Let me ask you again. Are your knees killing you?
Oh, yeah. Are they ever?
What about your back? When you bend over, does it feel like this? How about when you get out of bed in the morning? If you're like me, your knees and back feel like this.
Oh, that hurts.
I found a company called the Pain Relief Hotline. They specialize in ways to treat your knee, back, and neck pain without surgery or taking medications. The good news is if you have insurance, you may have little or no cost or out-of-pocket expense. I've used them. It works. Call the Pain Relief Hotline now for free information. 800-309-2677. 800-309-2677. Call now. 800-309-2677. That's 800-309-2677.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
Aloha! Experience your home away from home being beachfront at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Begin your getaway relaxing on over 11 acres of tropical Hawaiian gardens at Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel, voted Best Aloha Spirit by Hawaii Magazine readers. Just walking around the grounds with all the tropical vegetation, relaxing poolside, or kicking back in the sun on the world-renowned Kaanapali Beach makes you feel like you're home in paradise. There's a package to fit all your needs: wedding, honeymoon, activities, private parties, great food, or just good old beach fun. The hotel perpetuates the Hawaiian tradition at its best. Call 661-0011 or visit kbhmaui.com.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
Welcome back. You are listening to Divine Love Talk, and we are talking about moving from the addiction that we have to what was the word?
Self-gratification.
Instant gratification,
Yes,
self-gratification. It goes, to focus and consistency. And this is a huge topic for all of us, not just the millennials, but for all generations. And one of the things I appreciated about the conversation that the three of us had before we came on the show is, Dr. Grant, you pointed out that it's kind of in these conversations, when we bring generations together and we illuminate the problem, that we can begin to bring about solutions to these issues that we're carrying forward in generation after generation.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that. What I'd like to make sure that we do, Jason, in this segment, right after I go over the whole a major solution to this problem with the oxytocin, is to make sure that we go over the 7 steps to manifesting what you want, because young people want instant gratification, and they also want instant manifestation. But I want to say that studies have shown that feel good hormone that's released. A lot of it is released when mothers give birth, and the oxytocin is what causes the bonding between humans and that bonding of love. And that's another reason why fathers are encouraged, to be there in the delivery room, to hold the baby, to bond, because the oxytocin literally is the antidote to the dopamine addiction. And so what does that look like? Well, I looked back when I first discovered this research, and I looked back and I wondered how it was that I grew up around nothing but addicts and I did not become an addict. And the secret is service. When I was the Cinderella and I was the adopted daughter, and there were 4 adopted siblings, and I was the oldest, and I was their mother, and I was always of service, taking care of them, taking care of the house, taking care of my mother, who was a broken woman. And from there, becoming a teacher and a psychologist, it was always about being of service. And what they found is that people who devote their lives to service, they are producing a lot of oxytocin, and there is no way that you can become an addict when you don't need that addiction, when you're getting this sense of satisfaction that you can only get from knowing that you're changing people's lives, that you are literally, I can't tell you how many students have told me, and some of them, they never even talked to me in class, but have contacted me and said, that lecture you gave saved my life, or you just taking time, 5 minutes with me when I needed you and you didn't have time. And many of these students I don't even remember, but them saying that 5 minutes saved my life. I was getting ready to go and do something that could have ended my life. So that is something that we're not emphasizing with our children today, because we're so caught up in that gratifying their wants and needs, because so many parents are so busy, they just don't want to deal with the drama. They don't want to deal with these full-blown egos and the kids crying and pouting, and I see this with parents, and I just go, oh my goodness, I wrote the book on personality disorders and focused on narcissism because that is the disease of this generation, and that is the demise of this generation. And unless that is really attended to by getting the kid outside of himself, and focused on being of service to other people, then they start to feel good about themselves and they develop self-esteem. So that is the true antidote. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy to take a generation of kids that are self-centered and it's all about them, and parents who think that the world revolves around their children. There's this show that won an Emmy called Big Little Lies, and it's about these mothers in Monterey, and they're so obsessed with their children and their children being the best. And I thought, well, I see why this show is so popular, because this is what I see, is that with this generation of parents, they think that their children are the center of the universe. And the narcissism of the parents, of course, is passed on to the kids. So I think that's an important topic to really focus on. How can we move this generation of parents and children out of narcissism and thinking that their child is the center of the universe and the best and the brightest and the smartest and all of this? You want them to have good self-esteem, but you got to have some balance in there.
And speaking of the universe, I just have to highlight for those that are actually seeing this visual, my beloved Heather Powers is the universe right now. She's actually wearing a green shirt on a green screen. So if you're looking at her, she is the universe. And, it's a paradox of sorts, Dr. Grant, because Deepak Chopra just recently wrote a book called You Are the Universe. And,
well, we do. Listen, we do. Our DNA contains everything in the universe. But
Yes.
that's different than, you know,
Yes.
I don't mean literally. I'm saying when the child or the parent thinks that the world revolves around them and that the world owes them something, and that people should bow down without having earned, you know, that respect, without having earned that title.
If I could just interject here, this is huge, because the difference between self-focus and self-love and a self-esteem are completely different things. And I think, you know, it goes back to this sense that we are separate somehow. We have a hopelessness in the world today of the feeling of separation. And so when we're not connecting deeply to the source of ourself, we're going to keep perpetuating that self-focus onto our kids, because we're trying to find that, you know, that validation for ourselves, and we're just going to keep perpetuating it. The answer to this is, like we've talked about, it's getting connected not only to each other, but getting connected to who we really are and the source of that, which is the universe inside of us.
Well, you know, the other thing that I'm also pointing out is that the ego has this need to be special, and that need to be special feeds what you're talking about, that separation. Oh, I'm smarter, I'm better, more special, and then the gap, you know, widens of separation. But when you are connected to Mother Nature, when you're connected to the soul of the universe, or the soul of the world and the people around you, then you want to do something to alleviate the suffering on the planet, and to help lift other people up. And if there was more focus on true service and teaching children to be of real service, then they would be producing more of the oxytocin, and they would not need the dopamine rush from the technology. You don't need technology to be of service to people. The technology gets in the way of you connecting with people.
Yes, and from our experience, we've got a global outreach, a global ministry because of social media, and we talk about in our home a lot the balance of this, because it is a very powerful tool. Prior to having the show, we had an international audience and viewership that would be inspired. Our intention, our mission was to inspire, activate, and elevate divine love consciousness. And that's why we're here, you know. And so technology is a tool when used appropriately. But I think what we want to go into here in this segment is to talk about, you know, the reason why we're even having this conversation is because in divine love, it is your birthright to be successful. It is your birthright to be abundant. And a lot of us are short-circuiting that pattern of perfection that has already been inlaid with the what we call the 7 laws of precipitation. Well, not the rain, but how we manifest, how things are manifested. You know, in the esoteric teachings, there's various laws. These are laws. This is how things get created, such as divine will, the will to do something, you know, concentration, purity. You know, and one of the laws that I love, it was in the 3rd law, and it talked about divine love, but it talked about constancy, you know, consistently watering. I was watering the roses and watering the tree today, this afternoon before we got here, and I had this aha, like things don't grow unless they're consistently watered. You could water it once a week, and it's not going to have much, but if you consistently pour light, if you consistently pour rain, if you consistently sow into what it is, eventually it's going to grow. It's not going to be instant gratification. We don't plant an apple tree and then boom, we have an apple. We don't plant an apple seed and then we expect in a week, where's my apple tree? You know?
Where's the fruit?
Where's the fruit?
Right.
Heather and I are developing and growing a whole nother part of our ministry and who we are and showing up in the world, but it takes constancy. This is the word for us is momentum and consistency.
If I could just add a little bit to that, one of the things that I think prohibits us from continuing in our rhythm and constancy is when we're not clear on our why. And this taps into what you were talking about, Dr. Grant, because we are coming from a very self-focused world, you know, in how we view things. And that if we don't grab something for ourselves, we're never going to get it. But then we put into the law of giving and receiving that we receive according to what we are willing to give, and have faith that that giving does return multiplied abundantly back to us, and not the kind of giving just to get, but that there's something within us that knows that we have something so valuable to contribute to the world, like you said, to help alleviate suffering, that as we do that, we do produce a physical response. Not only do we feel better about ourselves, but we also invoke the ability to receive the abundance that the universe is always wanting to pour into our life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for offering that balance, because I know as a psychologist, and my dissertation was on personality disorders, who basically are the ones who create and make it their career to make other people miserable, because they feel better when they put other people down or they see other people suffering. And that's a hard concept for people to wrap around, but you see it, you know, every day in children. And so in teaching the laws of manifestation or precipitation, if you're not teaching it in a way that the child or the individual understands that the laws work for everybody, but you're going to become way more fulfilled, and your life will have so much more joy and satisfaction in it if your intention for doing this is to be of greater service to the planet versus doing it all for your own glory or edification.
Mm-hmm. You know, interesting, because it leads us to an event that Heather and I are in the middle of seeding into creation, which is a thing called We Are One. And it's going to be a global event in September where we're going to have people grabbing hands all across the world, like they did in 1976, Hands Across America. But we're going to be doing a worldwide thing. And this is not about us. This is about a greater vision of unity on this planet that we're hungry for this, that we are calling all leaders and luminaries and spiritual teachers and artists and activists to join us and to create a world event that's been unprecedented, but it's bigger than us. And that's a life that I just invite our listeners, you know, what's being said here is when you have something greater than yourself and you devote your life in a consistent manner, we sow into this. Like, think about the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon was created by all drops of water, all collectively coming together. The Grand Canyon, the most beautiful, majestic thing that we look at the precipice and we just go, my God, there is a God. There is something bigger than me that created this. And what created it was water. And all little drops of water consistently in a rhythm, in a motion that was ordained by a divine intelligence that created something so beautiful. And that's what we're saying here, is that from instant gratification, we need to be aware that, okay, there is a balance that needs to be happen. There are things that are powerfully created when we are in a constant flow and staying focused.
So a practical question that we can ask ourselves is what if we come in specifically, individually here to offer the world? What is your gift? What do you have to, bless the world? That's a question that a lot of us have trouble answering because we're always in this mindset of having to work for other people. And so we think that the gifts that we bring are just meant to be hobbies or, on the side of life. And this goes back to our conversation about the labors of love. What are you here to share with the world? Where can you find ways to give, even in little ways, every day that are without any expectation of anything in return? Because I guarantee you, when you start to choose this and you give from a very pure place, the universe will start responding back to you with opportunities to use those gifts in greater measure, and divine ideas will come.
And I want to mention we mentioned his name is Simon Sinek. He wrote a book this year actually called Find Your Why, a practical guide for discovering purpose for you and your team. You know, and knowing that millennials, we have a lot of students who listen to the show, is to find your why. Why are you here? What is that blissful thing? I know we all want to have impact, but just knowing that once you get your why, it's going to take focus. It's going to take constancy. It's going to take rhythm. So just stay tuned. We've got a little bit of time. We're going to have a song by the beloved Heather Powers in just a little bit. But we're talking about from instant gratification to focus and constancy here on Divine Love Talk on CRN. You can find us out on divinelovetalk.com or email us at info@divinelovetalk.
Hi everyone, this is Fred Dreyer with some breaking news. My new movie, Highway 395, has just been released. Highway 395 is my latest movie and is now available for all of my friends and listeners to own. Highway 395 is a classic modern-day Western thriller. Action, romance, and the frontier spirit. It's all there in my new movie, Highway 395. Now, here's the best part. You can own this movie tonight by going to my brand new website, freddryer.co. Head to my website now at freddryer.co and check out the trailer. Then order the movie for a great night of entertainment. And while you're at freddryer.co, check out the memorabilia and my career highlights. But don't forget to order my new action thriller movie, Highway 395. So head over to freddryer.co. That's freddryer.co.
If you're eligible for Medicare, you need to know there is money available to you that can lower your Medicare prescription costs. How much can you save? Find out now by making a free call to Health Markets. They'll search from a variety of nationally recognized plans to find you the right coverage at a price that fits your budget. And they'll do all this valuable research for you at no charge to you. And remember, you may be able to save money on your prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge. Call Health Markets right now.
800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. That's 800-990-0351.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all 50 states and DC. Service and product availability varies by state. Agents may be compensated based on your enrollment.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's to see the memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. See the Art of the Masters, an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, fairy lights from cathedral ceilings, and our ancestors smiling down at you from the family love altar. The romance of Romeo and Juliet, and find the mystical Room of the Moon. And don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, make our own sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. From pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, just $18.95, and Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant, 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
All right, welcome back to Divine Love Talk here on CRN. Jason Michael and Heather Powers with Dr. Parthenia Grant. We're talking about from instant gratification to constancy and focus. And it's been an illuminating conversation. And we've got a little bit of time left, and we're going to have Heather sing a song. But any last words or reflections, Dr. Grant?
Yes, I wanted to leave. You mentioned Simon's new book on what was it? The Why?
Yes, Finding Your Why. Find your why.
Most people don't get what that means. And before you do anything, when I wrote my book, Showbiz Kids, How to Make Your Kid a TV, Film, or Recording Star, and when I wrote I Thought I Was the Crazy One, I knew why I was writing those books. And they won awards, and they became bestsellers. And I didn't really know why they became a phenomenon until I listened to Simon, and I went, oh my goodness. The reason why I wrote those was because I wanted to save parents money and time and heartache in getting their kids in show business, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't do it. That's why I wrote it. I didn't do it to make money. I wanted these parents to benefit from everything that I had learned and to make their lives easier. And I did the same thing with I Thought I Was the Crazy One. I wrote that book because personality disorders will drive you crazy and make you think you're the crazy one, and to save my students from having nervous breakdowns every semester with the personality disorders that they were dealing with. So when you get real clear on your why, then like Benjamin Franklin said, build a better mousetrap, and they will beat a path to your door.
Amen to that. And this is our why. We're here to inspire, activate, and elevate divine love. And we do that through music. We do that through courses. You can find us at thepowersoflove.com. We've got an amazing retreat coming up in Shasta. We invite you to be with us in November. We got room for one more couple, so if you want to come, just go to thepowersoflove.com. But I know my beloved's got an amazing song that's come through, so I'm going to let her just take us out, and we'll see you next week.
Come to the temple, bathe in the presence of love. Let go of the warring, lay down your sword, you've had enough. I know you're weary, the battle is taking its toll. Illusion is shattering, the veil is rent, you're home. So come to the fire, lay down the shame of the past. The blaze purifying, revealing your gold at last. For you hold the keys now, unlocking your shackles and chains. No longer a prisoner, you are now free and reclaimed. You're reclaimed. Surrender to divine love. And trust that you're enough. Allow yourself to breathe and remember, remember, remember. Oh, remember, remember, remember. You are the light of the world, and you are the joy of the earth. You are the love of your life. So remember.
Itself on being the station of every situation. And you can listen to us on nearly any platform and device. Download to your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry episodes of What's Cookin', and take Master Sommelier Michael Jordan with you to the wine shop so he can help you pick out that perfect bottle of wine. Stream episodes of the Sonoma Wine Report through